Hi everyone, I'm Aaron from Seoul Law Group, an English-speaking lawyer based in Seoul. In today's video, we will have an in-depth look at everything you need to know about getting a divorce in Korea. We will go over the types of divorce, what the legal grounds are getting a divorce, what happens to your F6 visa, child custody and support, compensation, and much more. This video is mainly aimed at foreigners married to a Korean. First, let's have a look at the types of divorce. There are three types of divorce in Korea. These types are: first, divorce by agreement; second, divorce by trial; third, divorce by mediation. We will go over them one by one. Divorce by agreement. When both parties agree to getting a divorce in Korea, they can file their divorce from the Korean family court without having to provide a reason. The only thing the court looks at is the genuine intent of divorce from both parties. It is not possible to hire a lawyer when getting a divorce by agreement, and both parties need to appear in court. It takes about 30 days to process the divorce by agreement without children, and up to 3 months when children are involved. If you get a divorce by agreement, you can stay in Korea until your ARC F6 visa expires. Divorce by mediation. Getting a divorce by mediation is a mandatory step before the case goes to court. However, it is also the fastest and simplest way to get a divorce judgment from the court if the parties mutually agree on the divorce and also agree on the specific conditions of the divorce. The parties do not need to appear in court by appointing a lawyer. Even if the person is staying abroad, there is no need to enter Korea. SLG's lawyers will discuss the term of the divorce on your behalf, go to court, receive a divorce decree, and put it down before you. Now, let's have a look at the legal grounds for divorce in Korea when your divorce goes to trial. South Korea is a country that doesn't recognize no-fault divorces. When your spouse contests the divorce and the Korean divorce law becomes the governing law of your divorce case, you need to prove the cause of your divorce. 1. If the spouse has committed an act of unchastity. 2. If one spouse has been maliciously deserted by the other spouse. 3. If one spouse has been extremely maltreated by the other spouse or his or her lineal ascendants. 4. If one spouse lineal ascendants have been extremely maltreated by the other spouse. 5. If the death or life of the other spouse has been unknown for 3 years. 6. If there is any other serious cause for making it difficult to continue the marriage. Let's go over them one by one. Adultery or act of unchastity. The husband or wife can apply to the Korean family court for divorce if their partner has cheated or committed an act of unchastity. Adultery and an act of unchastity are not the same in Korea. Adultery used to be a crime act and referred to having sexual intercourse with someone who isn't their spouse. An act of unchastity is broader than adultery and means any act violating marital fidelity. Abandonment or desertion is another reason why a spouse can apply for divorce to the Korean family court. What falls under malicious desertion is when the husband or wife leaves the household and abandons their spouse, refuses to live with them, or doesn't support them financially. Going to military service, on a long business trip, or leaving because one cannot stand the abuse anymore doesn't fall under malicious desertion. Extreme maltreatment. Domestic abuse by a spouse or lineal ascendant is another valid reason to apply for a divorce at the Korean family court. This is to be a rather common reason for divorce, as many married couples commonly lived with the in-laws, and wives getting abused by their parents-in-law was a serious social issue in Korea. That's all life of spouse unknown. If the location or life of the spouse is unknown for more than 3 years, the period starts from the last day it can be proven the spouse was alive. Other reasons for divorce are, interestingly enough, the most common causes for filing a divorce in Korea. Korea is a country that doesn't recognize no-fault divorces because the court states that a guiltless spouse should not be forced into an unwanted divorce. Valid reasons that fall under these last categories are financial issues, personality difference, or anything that make it impossible to have a normal marriage life. Next topic we want to cover is if you need a divorce lawyer or not. If you are not getting a divorce by agreement, it is highly recommended to hire a Korean-speaking lawyer to help you represent your case, especially when you and your spouse cannot agree on the terms of the divorce. When choosing a lawyer for your divorce, make sure to hire a lawyer that speaks both English and Korean and is experienced in handling divorce cases. Seoul Law Group is here to listen to your side of the story and carefully guide you through the proceedings, dividing the properties, deciding the child custody and child support, and adultery compensation, and so on. Now, one of the most commonly asked questions: will you be able to keep your F6 visa after divorce in Korea? One of the most common concerns foreigners have when getting a divorce in Korea is what happens to their F6 visa. It is very important to keep your visa in your mind when going through a divorce, especially if you are looking to stay in South Korea. So, is it possible to keep your F6 visa? Yes, it is. But unless there are children involved, it can be rather difficult. You can keep your visa in these following cases. You have children together and you want custody or have substantial visitation rights. In this case, you can change your F6-1 visa to F6-2 and you can stay in Korea until the child reaches legal age. The reason for the failure of marriage is 100% because of the Korean spouse. Please bear in mind that it is very hard to prove that the fault lies completely with your spouse. If you want to keep your F6 visa after getting a divorce in Korea, it is highly recommended to hire a good divorce lawyer to help you make your case. Child support in Korea. Child support is decided when the divorce goes to trial based on the cost of raising a child and the combined income of the couple before divorce. You can find more details about how child support is calculated on our website. You can find the link in our bio. Property division. When it comes to property division in a divorce by trial, the court considers the age, occupations, reasons for the divorce, and contribution to the property when deciding the proportion for each party. One property acquired during the marriage and through contribution of both spouses can be divided. Individual property or property acquired before marriage or solely through efforts of one party is not eligible to be divided during a divorce in Korea. Compensation. If you are getting a divorce because you have been cheated on, it is possible to request compensation. There are 3 types of compensation in case of adultery. 1. You committed adultery and you need to compensate. 2. Your spouse cheated on you and you need to be compensated. And 3. You had intercourse with someone while they were married and now their spouse is requesting compensation from you. Well, I hope this video was useful for you. If you have any questions or concerns, let us know in the comment section below, and you can find more info on seollawgroup.com. Don't forget to subscribe our channel for more Korean law videos, and we hope to see you next time. Bye.